What's up, everyone? Jason here from PyQuant News, back with you for another edition of YouTube. Today we're going to be covering AI, and I've been writing a lot about AI engineering and how it's used in quantitative finance. And obviously, when we talk about AI, we're talking about large language models, which, while not new, have become exponentially more powerful over just the last year or two after the launch of ChatGPT. And now we've got brand new ChatGPT models, which are even more powerful. So today, what we want to do is actually analyze some financial statements. So, we know that reading 80-page financial statement from NVIDIA is probably a good idea. So we know a lot about what's happening in the business. But look at this. Who's actually going to read this? I mean, Warren Buffett got rich in the 60s, 70s, 80s from reading financial statements. But nowadays, we don't actually have to read them by hand because we have AI. So today we're going to look at Llama Index, which is a library built in Python that we can use to parse this baby and ask some questions. Let's dive in. So I'm going to open up my Jupyter Notebook here, and let's import our Llama Index. So from llamaindex.lls OpenAI, import OpenAI. And just for a quick one, I have a .env file in this directory where I store my OpenAI key. That's typically best practice instead of hard coding it in. So let's import some of the libraries that we'll need for Llama Index. We've got the storage context, vector store index, the directory reader, and load index from storage. We'll grab a couple more libraries here just for the prompting. And we will use this .env load.env, and what this does is it looks at the environment files, it loads the environment variables in those files into our environment, and what that allows us to do then is actually use OpenAI. So true means that we are good to go. Let me add some rows here. All right, cool. So the first thing we're going to do is actually configure the language model and load the doc. So we were looking at this financial statement. I actually downloaded this and I put it into the same directory as you can see here, NVIDIA. Okay, so that just make sure you do that before you keep going here. But what this will do, this will actually load a model. So we now have the GPT-4o, and we are now able to access that through the API. So first thing I'm going to do is actually load the doc. So the simple directory reader will read a document from the directory. And in my case here, I'm giving it the nvidia.pdf. And you can see here that we were able to load all 80 pages of that PDF in just a quick second. We're going to kind of do two things here. First is we're going to use a vector store. And what a vector store is it takes the content from the document and it stores it in a numerical representation in so-called vectors. And the vector store index just does that locally. And we are doing that from the actual doc itself. And what this allows us to do is look up, using similarity search, look up different content from the vector store based on written text, and then it goes into the doc and it finds it. So we're going to use the Llama Index as query engine to create our engine. And that's really all we need. So let's actually ask it a question. So we're going to ask, what is the revenue of NVIDIA in the last period reported? Answer in millions with page reference, include the period. Let's see what happens. We will do an async query. And the revenue of NVIDIA in the last period reported was $30.04 billion for the 3 months ended July 28th. Page 3. So if let's see, just grab this number here and go up 1, 2, 3. There it is. 3 month ended, total revenue 30,040. So Llama Index was able to index the doc and look it up in the vector store and give us the answer. That's pretty cool. Let's do it again. Same idea. This time we're going to ask, what is the beginning and end date of NVIDIA's fiscal period? NVIDIA's fiscal period ends on the last Sunday in January. Give me the page reference. Let's see what that gives us. Page 9. Okay, let's just go to page 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, geez. Okay. Sunday? We operate on a 52 or 53 week year ending on the last Sunday in January. Boom. So instead of having to control F in a PDF, we just ask our Python code. Okay, so let's do something a little bit more sophisticated because that's fun, but it's we can get better. We're going to use a tool. And what tools are is it allows the LLM to access code. And we're going to define it like this with a built-in query engine tool. And to instantiate this class, we pass in the engine and we just create this kind of metadata thing. So this is just an object that is created from Llama Index, and voila, we're done. And we're going to create a so-called sub-query. So what this does is it gives us a little bit, allows us to handle more complex queries, and it breaks them down into sub-questions. So this is like React. So it allows the code and the LLM to reason about what we're asking and figure out the answer through a series of reasoning steps. So let's see how it works once we create that. Note here, it's basically the exact same thing as before, except it's s_query representing this sub-question. And we're going to ask it to compare and contrast the customer segments and geographies that grew the fastest. Wow. Okay. So that is a fairly complex query, but you can see that it goes through a series of steps and answers a question. So what are the customer segments that grew the fastest in terms of revenue? Like we're translating that, which questions show the highest growth? Professional visualization revenue. So that's the answer. Okay. Professional visualization revenue grew the fastest in terms of revenue. Data center revenue showed the highest growth in revenue. And then it completes the answer. Professional visualization was the customer segment that experienced the fastest growth, while data center was the category that showed the highest revenue. Okay, cool. Let's try another one. What risks to NVIDIA's business are highlighted in the document? Ooh, nobody likes risks. Okay, so the key risks: long manufacturing lead times, uncertain supply and component availability, potential blah, 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 blah. So pretty impressive that this thing can go through and actually reason about what we're asking it and come up with really high quality answers. Last one, how does NVIDIA see the risks highlighted in the document impacting financial performance? Now, we're just asking simple questions. I mean, we could ask the LLM anything that we want, and it will continue to reason about the responses. So in really just a couple lines of code, we're able to use a very, very powerful tool, Llama Index, to query the financial statement and start asking questions of an 80-page document in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel, PyQuant News. I launch videos like this every week or so. AI engineering, algorithmic trading, all of Python. Take care. See you next time. Bye.